Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're tackling a figure who looms large in American history,
Definitely looms large.
Abraham Lincoln. You sent us a ton of requests to unpack his story.
Yeah. Seems like everyone wants to know more about Honest Abe.
So we dug into a really fascinating biographical video, and, well, let's just say get ready for some surprises.
Yeah, his path to the presidency. It was anything but straightforward.
Okay, so we've all heard the whole log cabin self-made man story, but
No?
I think we need to really paint a picture of just how tough his early life actually was.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine being born in a one-room log cabin
Right, limited access to education.
and then losing your mother at just 9 years old.
9 years old, it's unimaginable. And the video mentioned she died from milk sickness.
Yeah, milk sickness. That was a real scourge back then, caused by drinking milk from cows who had grazed on poisonous plants.
Wow. So not only was it a devastating personal loss, but a reflection of the harsh realities of frontier life. It's amazing that anyone could overcome such a difficult start. But Lincoln, he persevered.
He did. He had this incredible thirst for knowledge.
Even as a young boy, he would devour any book he could get his hands on.
Yeah, reading by candlelight after long days working on the farm.
And I think his stepmother, Sarah, deserves a lot of credit here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She really encouraged his love of reading, brought books into their home, fostered that intellectual curiosity.
Really helped to shape his path.
She did.
And speaking of shaping his path, the video also dives into his relationship with Anne Rutledge
Yeah.
and her tragic death.
This was another devastating loss for Lincoln. They were deeply in love, planned to marry.
And then she died from typhoid fever in 1835.
It plunged him into a deep depression. Some say he never fully recovered from it.
It's heartbreaking. And, you know, it makes you think about how this early experience with grief and loss might have shaped his later strength during the Civil War.
Yeah, definitely a recurring theme in his life. This resilience in the face of profound personal tragedy.
So we see this young man facing incredible hardship, but also demonstrating this remarkable determination. But as the video points out, his path to the presidency, it wasn't some straight shot to success.
Not at all. He had a failed business,
Oh, yeah.
lost his first election for the state legislature.
And even lost his congressional race.
He did. At one point, he even considered giving up politics entirely.
Really?
Yeah. But each setback seemed to fuel his determination even more.
So it's like he learned from those failures and used them to grow.
Exactly. He studied law independently, passed the bar, and eventually was elected to the Illinois state legislature.
He clearly had this drive to serve to contribute to something bigger than himself.
He did it.
And that drive led him to the national stage with the famous Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Ah, yes. The debates. These were pivotal.
They were. And even though Lincoln technically lost,
Right. He didn't win the Senate seat.
these debates actually launched his political career.
They did. His arguments against the expansion of slavery.
And that famous House Divided quote.
Oh, yes. Powerful stuff.
They captivated audiences and really thrust him into the national spotlight.
And it wasn't just his oratory skill. It was his moral clarity that shone through.
It's like his words resonated with people because they were rooted in this deep conviction.
Absolutely. He wasn't just playing politics. He was grappling with the fundamental question of what kind of nation America should be.
And those debates laid the groundwork for his presidential victory in 1860.
Even in defeat, Lincoln was planting the seeds for future success.
But that success would be tested in ways he could never have imagined.
Right.
His election as president in 1860 set the stage for one of the most tumultuous periods in American history, the Civil War.
Oh, absolutely. He inherited a deeply divided nation.
Facing a crisis unlike any America had ever seen.
This is where his leadership was truly tested.
And one of the first major decisions he made was to issue the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863.
Bold move. Incredibly risky.
It was, because not everyone even in the North supported abolishing slavery.
No, they didn't. And Lincoln knew this would be met with resistance, but he was unwavering in his commitment to ending slavery.
So it wasn't just about preserving the Union anymore. It was about fighting for the fundamental principle of human equality.
Exactly.
And this is where I think Lincoln's earlier struggles, his resilience in the face of personal loss, really come into play.
Yeah, he had learned to face adversity head on and make tough decisions.
He understood both the moral and political complexities of the situation.
Absolutely. He wasn't just an idealist.
Right.
He was also a shrewd strategist.
And he needed that strategic mind to navigate the challenges of the war.
Absolutely. like finding the right general to lead the Union Army.
Which wasn't an easy task.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He went through several setbacks and failed campaigns before finding his man in Ulysses S. Grant.
Grant was a completely different personality than Lincoln.
Yeah, much more action-oriented, while Lincoln was more deliberate and contemplative.
But Lincoln recognized Grant's talent and delegated authority.
A key insight into his leadership style. Putting aside personal preferences to find the best person for the job.
And it paid off. Under Grant's leadership, the Union Army started turning the tide of the war.
They did. But even with military victories on the horizon.
Lincoln knew the war was taking a heavy toll on the nation.
Right.
He needed to remind people what they were fighting for.
And he did that with the Gettysburg Address.
That speech is incredible.
It is.
He managed to capture the essence of the conflict and its higher purpose in just a few minutes.
Masterpiece of concision and eloquence.
77 years ago.
Those words etched into the Lincoln Memorial.
It's one of those speeches that transcends time. It speaks to these enduring ideals of equality and democracy.
It does, solidifying Lincoln's place as not just a wartime president.
But a visionary leader.
Exactly. He understood the deeper meaning of the American experiment.
The Civil War wasn't just a battle over territory or political power.
No, it was a struggle to determine the very soul of the nation.
Would America live up to its founding ideals or succumb to division and injustice?
That was the question at the heart of it all.
It really did. The Gettysburg Address, I mean, it helped redefine the purpose of the war and, galvanize the nation. But as we know, tragedy struck just as the war was coming to an end.
Yeah, his assassination at Ford's Theater, just 5 days after Lee's surrender. It was a devastating blow. I mean, a nation already reeling from years of conflict.
It's almost Shakespearean, this man who guided the nation through its darkest hour,
Right.
robbed of the chance to see the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, it left the nation grappling with this monumental task, rebuilding, reuniting a shattered country.
And that responsibility fell to Lincoln's successor, Andrew Johnson.
And later to Ulysses S. Grant.
And this period Reconstruction, it was fraught with challenges.
The South was in ruins. Figuring out how to reintegrate Confederate states was incredibly complex.
Right. And the issue of racial equality, while legally addressed with the 13th Amendment, it was far from resolved in practice.
Absolutely. Abolishing slavery was just the first step.
I mean, the deep-seated prejudice and inequality ingrained in Southern society didn't just magically disappear overnight.
No. It's a stark reminder that legal change doesn't always equal immediate societal change.
And sadly, we see this throughout history.
We do. It's a long and often painful process.
Lincoln seemed to understand this. He knew that true equality would require this fundamental shift in attitudes and beliefs.
More than just laws.
Exactly. But how do you bring about that kind of change in a society so deeply divided?
It's a question that we're still grappling with today.
That's true. Reconstruction was an attempt to answer that question, rebuilding the South both physically and socially, integrating formerly enslaved people as full citizens.
But it was a tumultuous period. Political battles, economic struggles, and the rise of Jim Crow laws.
Systematically disenfranchising Black Americans.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to see how those hard-won gains of the Civil War were eroded in the years after Lincoln's death.
It is. But despite those setbacks, Lincoln's legacy continued to serve as this beacon of hope.
It did, inspiring those who fought for civil rights and equality in the decades that followed.
I mean, think about the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s.
Yeah.
Lincoln's image and his words, they were often invoked by those fighting for racial justice.
They were. He became this almost mythical figure in American history.
Right. Born in poverty, self-educated, facing constant setbacks, yet never losing sight of his ideals.
It's a testament to the power of resilience and determination.
And his humility, too. Even as president, he never put himself above others.
No, he didn't. Treated everyone with respect, whether they were a general, a soldier, or an ordinary citizen.
Countless stories of him taking the time to listen to the concerns of everyday people.
Offering words of encouragement, treating everyone with dignity.
It's those qualities that make him such an enduring figure.
Right.
He embodies these core American values.
Hard work, honesty, compassion.
A belief in the power of democracy.
And speaking of enduring symbols,
Yeah.
the Lincoln Memorial.
Okay, let's talk about that. It's such a powerful symbol of his legacy.
It is. It's more than just a monument. It's a place of pilgrimage for people from all over the world.
People who come to pay homage to this extraordinary man.
And those words from the Gettysburg Address etched into the walls.
A nation dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Powerful reminder.
A reminder that freedom and equality are not given. They're earned. and they require constant vigilance and effort to protect.
Lincoln's life is a testament to that.
It is. So we've explored the complexities of Reconstruction
Right.
and the enduring tower of Lincoln's legacy. What stands out to you?
For me, it's the tension between the progress that has been made and the work that still lies ahead.
Yeah.
We've come a long way since Lincoln's time.
Right.
But his dream of a truly equal and united nation,
Yeah.
it remains unfinished. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in striving for a more just and equitable society.
It's a call to action for all of us to continue the fight for justice and equality.
To live up to the ideals that Lincoln so eloquently articulated.
And a reminder that even in the face of setbacks and disappointments,
We must never give up hope.
Lincoln's life is proof that even one person can make a profound difference in the world.
It is. His story teaches us that it's not about grand gestures,
Right.
but about the consistent, persistent pursuit of what is right, no matter the obstacles.
And that message resonates as powerfully today as it did over 150 years ago.
Absolutely. What's truly remarkable is that even after all this time, we're still learning from Lincoln.
Yeah.
His words and actions continue to challenge us, to inspire us, and to remind us of the unfinished business of democracy.
We've covered so much ground, but I feel like we've only scratched the surface of this complex and fascinating figure.
There's always more to discover, more layers to peel back, more insights to glean from Lincoln's life and legacy.
And that's what makes history so compelling.
It is. It's not just a collection of facts and dates.
Right.
It's a living, breathing narrative that helps us understand who we are and where we're going.
And in the next part, we'll shift gears a bit and explore a lesser-known aspect of Lincoln's life.
Oh, okay. His deep personal struggles with melancholy and depression.
Interesting.
It's a side of him that's often overlooked, but it adds another layer of complexity and humanity to his already remarkable story.
By examining his inner world, his struggles, his moments of both triumph and despair,
Right?
we can gain a deeper appreciation for his resilience and his extraordinary capacity for empathy.
It's a reminder that even those who achieve greatness are still human, with all the flaws and vulnerabilities that entails.
Very true. So stay tuned as we continue our deep dive into the life and times of Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, so we've explored Lincoln's incredible journey, from those humble beginnings all the way to his monumental achievements.
Definitely a remarkable trajectory.
It is. But now I think we need to turn our attention to a side of him that isn't often discussed, his personal struggles.
Yeah, his inner world.
Exactly. What was then called melancholy, what we might now understand as depression.
It's easy to view these historical figures as almost superhuman.
Right. Especially someone like Lincoln who achieved so much. Right. But it's crucial to remember they were human, grappling with very real emotions and challenges, just like all of us.
And this biographical video, it doesn't shy away from those struggles.
No, it doesn't.
It actually delves into Lincoln's lifelong battle with what he called the blues.
Really adds a whole new layer to understanding his character.
It does. It makes you wonder, how did he function, especially with the incredible weight of the presidency on his shoulders?
And what's striking is that we now have a much better understanding of mental health than existed in Lincoln's time.
That's true. Back then, there wasn't the same awareness or vocabulary to describe what he was experiencing.
Exactly.
So how did people close to him describe these periods of melancholy? What did they observe?
Well, those close to Lincoln, including his law partner, William Herndon, they described periods of intense sadness, introspection, what they called fits of deep gloom.
Wow.
He would sometimes withdraw from social interactions and exhibit signs of despair and hopelessness.
It's hard to imagine carrying that kind of burden while also leading a nation through a civil war.
It is. And what's particularly fascinating is that some historians actually believe Lincoln's melancholy may have contributed to his effectiveness as a leader.
Really? That seems counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But his understanding of suffering, his own inner struggles, may have fostered in him a deep sense of empathy and compassion.
That's a really interesting point. It's like that saying, the wounded healer.
Exactly. Could it be that his own experiences with hardship allowed him to connect with others on a deeper level?
I mean, it's certainly a possibility. His understanding of human suffering, his ability to see those complexities of human nature.
Right.
They may have informed his leadership and his approach to governing a nation torn apart by conflict.
It's a compelling argument for sure.
And it also speaks to his incredible resilience.
Definitely. He didn't allow these personal struggles to paralyze him.
Right. He found ways to channel those emotions, his pain, into a relentless pursuit of a better future for the nation.
A powerful testament to the human spirit.
It is. Lincoln's story teaches us that Even those who achieve great things, they often carry these heavy burdens.
They do.
Yeah.
It reminds us that leadership doesn't require perfection,
Right.
but rather the ability to persevere through adversity, to find meaning and purpose, even in the midst of hardship.
It humanizes someone who we often place on a pedestal.
Yeah, it reminds us that vulnerability and strength can coexist.
Exactly. By understanding Lincoln's personal struggles.
We gain a deeper appreciation for his humanity and his unwavering commitment to his ideals.
So after this incredibly in-depth look at Lincoln's life, his leadership, his legacy, and his personal struggles, what are your biggest takeaways?
Hmm. For me, it's the realization that Lincoln wasn't just a great man. He was a complex and multifaceted human being.
Right. Ambitious, but also compassionate.
Mm.
Brilliant, but also deeply flawed.
And it's that very complexity that makes him such an enduring and relatable figure.
It's a powerful reminder that greatness doesn't require perfection.
No, it doesn't.
It's about embracing our vulnerabilities, learning from our setbacks, and striving to live up to our highest ideals, even in the face of adversity.
Well said. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to continue exploring Lincoln's life and legacy. There are countless books, documentaries, and historical sites dedicated to understanding this remarkable man.
And as you delve deeper, try to see beyond those familiar narratives and consider the man behind the myth. Explore his inner world, his struggles, his doubts, his moments of both triumph and despair.
Right.
In those complexities, you'll find a truly inspiring figure who continues to shape our understanding of leadership resilience and the enduring power of the human spirit.
And who knows, you might even discover something new about yourself along the way.
That's the beauty of history. It's a journey of self-discovery as much as it is a journey through time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and times of Abraham Lincoln.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained new insights, fresh perspectives, and a deeper appreciation for this extraordinary figure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those deep questions.